Hi everyone, welcome to another live chat. It's my sincere pleasure today to introduce Alka Dhillon. She's the award-winning CEO of Technolink in DC, and she's also the author of the new book, The Om Factor, A Woman's Spiritual Guide to Leadership, 7 Essential Tools and 7 Key Traits to Cultivate Your Success and Well-Being. It came out on Tuesday, so we're very excited here. And today we're giving away a copy of the Om Factor along with a beautiful set of mala prayer beads. So after the chat, head on over to BookTrib.com to enter to win. Alka, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura. So happy to be here.
Great. Now, Alka, you call yourself the spiritual CEO, and I was wondering if you could explain to everybody what that title means to you.
What it means to me is bridging religion, but bringing self in every colleague, find that I do that on a daily basis. So that's where the title kind of came from.
Alka, we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you. Could you speak up a little bit?
Sure.
Okay.
Is that better?
Oh, perfect. Yes, better.
Great.
Thank you.
Great.
So I just want to jump right in to talk about the Om Factor a little bit. You know, in this day and age, our attention is so divided. You know, we're constantly hooked up to our emails, our work emails, we're on social media, etc. How can the Om Factor help combat all this noise?
So with the Om Factor, again, it's all about going within self-reflection. So the key is that it's a practical spirituality, right? So it provides you plug-and-play tools and plug-and-play traits that you can cultivate to increase your Om Factor. But what is the Om Factor? It is a quality that certain where they respond rather than react. Factor actually out all these feelings that we feel every single day of anger, anxiety, fear, all these things. How do you deal with them in the moment? But the best part is, how can we make those things often cultivate these 7 traits so that the delta between the hemorrhaging point and the period of peace and well-being becomes much, much longer and much larger. So.
Excellent. Now, right before we get to some viewer questions, I'm wondering if perhaps you can unplug your headphones. We're going to try it that way. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can. Yay. All right, let's get on to some viewer questions here. We have a good one here from Ellen. She says, what about confidence? Does that play a role in your Om Factor, your personal Om Factor?
So confidence does play an integral role, actually, and that's a great question. But a lot of times we all have trouble cultivating that confidence because we have a lot of inner insecurities. We have a lot of feelings of feeling less than maybe and not feeling as worthy. So in order to cultivate that confidence, and that is what is required, you need to go within, and that is through meditation. And I do want to say one thing about meditation that we will talk about today. It is going to be demystified in this time we have together. It is not about you sitting on top of a mountain for an hour. It is not about you having to take an hour out of your day to do this. I'm going to teach you how to do this very, very easily, and that you can do it every day, even 2 minutes.
So, even 2 minutes? 2 minutes helps.
2 minutes. If you do it every day, 2 minutes makes a world of difference in your life.
Well, that's great. I mean, not everybody, as you said, can take the time to go sit on top of a mountain for an hour and meditate. So let's say, I want to paint a scenario here. Let's say you're on a conference call, you're at work, and you're talking to someone who is making you feel a little insecure, a little anxious. What can you do sitting there, while you're on the call that can help kind of center yourself to bring that anxiety down?
Right. There are several things. There's a breathing technique that you can do, but a lot of times that's not conducive on the phone because you don't want people to really hear you inhaling and exhaling so loudly. So I'm going to give you a technique. I don't know if you can see my hands. I'm going to fix the screen. I'm moving it down only so you can see where I'm. So my hands are here and they're on my lap. Okay, so that's where you're going to put them with your palms up. Now I'm going to bring it up here so you can see. So you're going to take your thumb finger to your index finger. You can do this with two hands together, or you can do it with one hand. So say you're holding the phone, you can do it with one hand. This is called the Set Nom Meditation. It's in the book, so you can read it in more detail. So you're going to take your thumb finger, have your hand on the phone, thumb finger to your index finger and say the sound sa.
Sa.
Thumb finger to middle finger and say the sound tha.
Tha.
Tha or ta, but it's tha is the proper way to pronounce it. And then thumb to ring finger and say the sound na.
Na.
And then thumb to pinky and say ma.
Ma.
So now you're on the phone with this person, right? And you're trying to get yourself centered. You're going to be going like this, and you can keep saying it in your mind. Sa tha nama, sa tha nama, sa tha nama. Just like that.
Okay.
I do this constantly. My phone will be my hand will be under my desk, or that way nobody can see, or if I'm even in a meeting, my one hand will be under my desk, the other hand will be writing, and I'll be doing that. So what happens is on the ends of your fingertips, you have neurotransmitters that when you touch them, they send signals to your brain that encourages you to first it brings you a little bit more in center, a little bit more calmer, but it also it enables you to be able to focus and be in that present moment. Because what's happening is that person is what they're saying is causing you anxiety. You are attributing that anxiety to that person. What you need to do is understand that anxiety is from that person, and it is attributed to that person. It has nothing to do with you. So you need to bring yourself to that present moment by doing this.
Okay, excellent. And that's something you do every day.
And it's not because I deal with challenging people every day, but a lot of times there'll be a lot of challenging situations that arise where I have to make decisions very quickly, and they need to be the right decisions at the time. So again, I do this in order to bring myself into that place.
And how did you come up with the concept of the Om factor?
I came up with that because, and how I came up with it was that I would see people like Deepak Chopra, Diane von Furstenberg, Arianna Huffington, all these, very successful people. And they're managing billion-dollar companies or multi-million-dollar companies, and they have families, they have multiple projects, they have many philanthropic endeavors, and they're nice. How does that happen? How do you do all of that? And here I was with my little world of being the CEO of Technolink and having a family and doing all my things, but it was much less than what I thought that they were doing. I thought it was a lot less busy. But I said, how do they do that, And I started to find out in talking with these types of people that they all have a practice of meditation. Every single one of them. The busiest people in this world meditate. And I realized that is the glue that sort of holds them together. and keeps it all from unraveling and allows them to operate at a very high level. So I learned meditation at a very young age, and that doesn't mean I practiced it though. So I would see my father. I grew up in Mount Vernon, and it's near the Potomac River, and he would sit on a rock in front of the river. The waves were crashing, and he was sitting and meditating. And I would say, "What the heck is this man doing?" Never understood it at all, and just kept watching it and kept doing my thing. And then, tragically, 19 years ago, he passed away very suddenly and tragically. And it wreaked havoc on my life and on our family. And we were all very young. I was only 22 at the time, and I had 2 younger sisters. And so going through that, I was in and out of the emergency room, actually, for about 30 days. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me because of the amount of stress and pressure that was there. And one day I just looked at myself in the mirror, and I didn't recognize who I was anymore. And I realized that, something's got to change. I got to go down another path because this is not working. And I went to a yoga class. And that was the best thing that could have happened, because in that yoga class, at the end, they did a meditation. They taught people how to meditate. And I had known it before, so it was familiar. And I never set foot in the ER again after that.
Wow.
I just started practicing it every day. It is so powerful.
That's incredible. And, there are all these studies on a personal level, it helps you in this way. And then, there are all these studies that show that meditation helps with productivity. It helps, alleviate stressors at work. The CEO of Aetna just said that he uses meditation in his corporation. Google and I think General Mills also have meditation programs. It's really incredible how this is all coming together because, before there was really, a separation between your work self, your professional self, and your spiritual self, so to speak, regarding religion and that sort of thing. Do you think the term spirituality is changing? Is it, does it mean something else than what it's traditionally thought of?
Yes, I think now, because awareness is being brought to this, it's being, as I said before, demystified. It's not, before it was being associated with religion, and alarm bells go off when you talk about religion, right? It's very polarizing. It's just one of those things, right? That spirituality is not that. Spirituality exists in every single one of us. It is about bringing that up and out and utilizing that and being more in touch with yourself so that you can connect better with other human beings. Because see, we are human beings having those spiritual experiences, whether it's a business deal, whether it's, your relationships at work or at home or wherever it is, you are connecting with other people. And in order to do that, and do that at a very high level with a very high ohm factor, you want to be able to have to connect within. And
so
the way
how
to do
can
that
somebody is I'm sorry. So what are the steps? Let's say there's a viewer here today who says, I need to get this own factor, I need to cultivate it within myself. What can a person do?
Okay, well, the first thing that you want to do is you want to practice meditation. Now, let's take a deep breath. It's not daunting, right? So just like I was sitting before with you're going to sit with your feet flat on the floor. We're just going to do this in 30 seconds. You're going to sit with your feet flat on the floor, okay? And you're going to put your palms facing up. Hold on one second. I'm going to move this so that it comes in so you can see me better. Okay, so your palms are going to be facing up on your lap. You're going to close your eyes. Okay, this is wherever you are. You're going to close your eyes, whether you're seated on a floor with your legs crossed or you're seated at your desk like I am right now in my office, and you're just going to take a deep breath. Then you're going to exhale. And you're going to do that 3 times. And then keeping your eyes closed, you are going to start to observe your breath without manipulating it. That is a big key. We start to think, I'm going to count my inhales, I'm going to count my exhales. You're not doing that. You're just observing your breath. So let's do that. During this time, there are going to be a lot of thoughts that are coming in. I have to do the laundry. I have to pick up my children. I have to go to this meeting. Oh, I have this deliverable. They're going to keep coming in. You don't judge those thoughts at all. Let them come. Let them go. And now you're going to feel your heartbeat. At this point, you've connected enough where you can actually feel it. And then you're going to set an intention of something that you want. What do you really, really want? You're going to ask yourself, what do I really, really want in this moment, today? And that answer is going to come to you. Do not formulate the answer. When it does, let it go. And then you just go back to observing your breath. And slowly open your eyes. And feel.
The effect of that is amazing.
So that is a very quick version of what you can do. You can set your timer for 2 minutes on that, set it for 5 minutes, whatever time you have, but that is the pattern of what you would go through forever, whatever time you're sitting. And that's very powerful because it sets an intention, and the key is letting that intention go out to the universe after, and then you just let it happen.
Now I just want to interrupt right now to say that you have guided meditation that's available on alkadhillon.com that people can go after this chat, they can go and download it. I highly suggest you do, and use it at your will, definitely. So Alka, what I love about the Factor is that it's a desk reference almost. You talk about specific feelings of anxiety and difficulties that you have during the day and how to address them. Can you talk about some of those?
Sure. You mean talk about the types of anxieties that you have?
Yes, and how to,
Yes.
and how you would go about, mitigating different varieties, I suppose.
The best way to do this is you want to be able to, so let's say you're feeling anxious about something in the moment. You're just feeling anxious. You just you think that the world is going to crumble. You don't know what's going to happen. The first thing you need to do is understand that you do not control the outcome of a situation. Okay. We tend to bring our ego into this and feel that we actually control the outcome. We actually control everything, and whatever we do is going to determine what's going to happen. That's not how it works. You are going to understand that you are going to do what you're supposed to do, your daily tasks, and you're going to make sure you do your research, you're going to make sure you do all your routine and do everything you're supposed to do, but the outcome is not something that is in your control. The anxiety comes when we feel that we control that outcome. So when you feel those feelings of anxiety, you want to make sure that you get yourself, even if it takes 5 seconds, and it does take 5 seconds to do this, and you can repeat the following affirmation that is just so powerful. It's only 4 words. So you're going to inhale, and you're going to say to yourself, this too shall pass, over and over again. This too shall pass. You keep repeating that. There is a certain vibration that is attached to those 4 words, and it immediately brings you into that sense of peace. And that is something that is really, really important that we all need. Because what happens is you don't think about the meaning of what you're saying. It's the vibration that resonates within you that this is transient. You do not control the outcome. Everything is okay, even when it's not in that moment. I also give a Sanskrit mantra that you can use, and feel free to use that. There's a pronunciation there, but it is not necessary. You can completely use the affirmation that I give.
And how does this, how does all of this, the cultivating of the own factor, how does that improve your abilities as a leader or a manager?
It's really fantastic, because what happens is you start to not lead by example. You start to lead by really listening and aligning your vibration with the other person. So for example, if you're a manager and you have people on your staff, instead of trying to say that, okay, you all, we're going to do this, this, and this, and you're going to execute it this way, and people think of leadership that way. They think of it as leading by example. I don't do that. Here at Technolink, I actually lead by finding out what other people's on my staff, what their and in my company, what their ideas are. And you'll be surprised when you're open to that. You'll come up with something much better. Creativity then blossoms. You then have a collective roadmap that you're going to follow. It's not your roadmap, because then what happens is you're only limited then to what your knowledge is. So basically, you are only bringing to bear for the entire company you. And that's not how it is. You have everybody here that has helped build this company and build this organization if you take your ego out of it. So that's the best thing to do. I always ask, what would you do? What do you think we should do? And then take those collective suggestions and then come up with something together.
That's incredible. Now, see, I have another question here from Ellen. She wants to know, who are some people who inspire you? Who's helped you along this journey to develop your own factor?
Many people. My father, for one, for sure. My mother as well. They both are very different people, but they have very unique traits, and I think I took those for sure. Deepak Chopra has been an amazing influence in my life. I go to his retreats at the Chopra Center. They're kind of all over, but I go to the Chopra Center a lot for 1 week in the year. Highly encourage people to do that. It's, again, a spiritual retreat. It is not a religious type of experience, but it is life-changing. I've had the opportunity to speak with him one-on-one many times, and it's amazing when you go within. Another woman, Edie Frazier, who is my mentor, she's here in the DC area. She's a big-time philanthropist, but the biggest thing about her is, what I learned from her is, she has a saying, do your giving while you're living, right? And it is about gratitude and mentorship, and really understanding that, we have a significant age difference, and she just, without even knowing me, and you'll read a little bit about our encounter, how we met in the book, but she just completely embraced my spirit and introduced me to the right people at the right time and those types of things. And that's what it comes down to, is having those connections and building those relationships. And you do that through other people. I think it's very foolish to feel that as a CEO or whatever business you have or whatever it is, that you did it on your own. I'm very cognizant of the fact that I stand on the shoulders of many, many people, and I have been very blessed in that regard. But you have to do your part too. They can make the introduction, but you've got to take it the rest of the way. So the other thing I'd like to say is where spirituality comes into this is you need to be cognizant of serendipity. So when you meet people, don't assume that, like when you're going into a networking event or you're going into a group of people that you don't know, don't assume that you need to meet, the person that's the speaker, right? And that's your target focus. Or, I've been told that this person's going to be here, I'm going to meet them. Don't do that. Be open to whoever you may meet, even the person sitting next to you in a lecture or wherever it is, because that happened to me one time. I learned that very quickly. I was sitting in a lecture, and there was someone, next to me that I didn't even know, and I was more concerned with, I'd love to meet the speaker. That, like anybody else, this is, a long time ago, but it happened. And I didn't realize that the person sitting next to me was the assistant of the person speaking. It was just random. And I didn't even have a dialogue with her, really. And then she happened to ask me a question, and we ended up talking. And I wish I would have been more proactive in, kind of introducing myself to her. But anyway, I got lucky, and she ended up setting up a one-on-one lunch with the speaker, who happened to be the CEO of a very large Fortune 50 corporation. So it was really a great deal, and ended up being one of our clients.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So be open to whom is sitting next to you, because they're there for a reason. You're where you are for a reason at any given moment.
And so would you say that the book, The Om Factor, is kind of a way for you to pay it forward? All these wonderful things that have happened?
It's actually, it's definitely a way to pay it forward, but even more importantly, it's a way to access the manifestation of what your deepest desires are. Because when you tap in, it gives you the tools to be able to do that. Then when you can achieve the things you want to achieve, what you consider to be success, because it's not money for everyone,
right.
Whatever you consider to be success, then at that point, you'll get to a place where you have what you want and you can give it to others.
That's wonderful. Wonderful message. And we're just about out of time. I want to thank you again, Alka, for coming to talk with us today about the Om Factor. I hope everyone got a good taste and is going to head over to Amazon.com and order their copy now. Also, to enter to win a free copy, you can go to BookTrib.com. We're giving away the book and gorgeous mala beads. And you can find Alka at alkadhillon.com. On Twitter, she is the spiritual CEO. She also blogs at the Huffington Post. And Alka, just thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure.
Oh, Sarah, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. I look forward to hearing from all of you of what you think of the book, and I definitely am very active on social media, so I will respond.
Oh, thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.